Okay, this will be a quick tutorial here to show you how to set up a cold Masternode. And we're going to be using a coin called Essence. This is a rather new coin. I'm not even sure how good the project is. It just happens to be a profitable Masternode at the moment, and it's low barrier to entry, really cheap to get into. So we use this as an example, but setting up Masternodes for most coins are virtually the same thing. Now I'm actually setting up my second Essence node, so there might be just some minor differences compared to setting up a first one. However, you should be able to follow along, no problem. So for this, I'm at essence.direct, that is the website, in order to do this, so you can follow along if you're installing Essence, or you can locate, follow these instructions and adapt them to the coin that you're trying to install. So a couple of things of interest up at the top here. First, you're going to have to get a wallet. So I downloaded the Windows wallet, and you can go ahead and do that and install the wallet. And the wallet will look something like this, actually. Looks something like this. You can see I have a bunch of Essence. So it takes 1,000 Essence in order to run a Masternode. So I have 1,000 that's actually running my current Masternode, and then we have another 1,000 available to set up this new Masternode. So you want to get your wallet installed, and there's a couple things we're going to go ahead and do right away. If we go to Tools and we go to go to Settings and then go to Options. Open this, and you'll want to check a couple of things. Make sure it says Start Essence or actually, it doesn't matter for you. For me, I like my wallet to run all the time, so I have selected Start Essence Core on System Login. It's important for me, may not be important for you. What is important, you want to enable coin control features, and this is going to allow us to actually view exactly how many coins are in an address and exactly how many transactions it ended up in that address in. So anyway, that's important, as well as Show Masternodes tab. If you don't have Show Masternodes, you're not going to be able to control your Masternodes. The rest should be able to stay just as is. You might have to make sure that this is checked here, map port using UPnP, and this will just basically automatically do port forwarding on your local computer for when it is necessary. Okay, so that should be it there. All right. So you're going to want to go to an exchange and get your 1,000 coins, or whatever the requirement is for the particular Masternode you are setting up. In my case, Essence is 1,000 coins. So I already went to GrabEX and I put 1,000 Essence in my wallet. All right, so now that that's done, there are a couple of things that we're going to need to do. So I have this in my wallet. But it may not necessarily be there in a single transaction, like I was saying. So if I go to Send and I go to Inputs, all right, here you can actually see the inputs for all the transactions that my wallet has received. Now you can see how this one has exactly 1,000 coins, and it's titled MN1. This is my first Masternode, the address for it. So I actually received 1,000 coins in a single transaction, and exactly 1,000, not 999, not 1,001, must be exactly 1,000 to my address for my Masternode, and it's working, and it's now locked, so I can't spend those funds. I can unlock them if I want to spend them, but that'll shut my Masternode off, so I don't want to do that. But you can see I have all of these other transactions, but none of them are, a total of 1,000 coins in a single transaction. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve that simply. We're going to go to File, and we're going to click on Receiving Addresses. Okay, and we're going to click on New. So I'm going to create a new address here, and I'm going to label it MN2 because this is my second Masternode. You can label it anything you want to. Label it Masternode, but I just stick with MN1, MN2, MN3. That way it's really easy to follow. Okay, so MN2, and we're going to click OK. Now it's going to generate a new address, so we'll just right click here and copy address. So this is a new address inside your wallet. So we're going to right click and copy address, so we'll just close out of this. Now we're going to go to Send, okay, and we're going to hit and Pay To. We're going to paste this, code in Inputs. It really doesn't matter. We don't need to select inputs. It'll automatically select any inputs that aren't locked, but you could, if you specifically wanted to choose certain inputs, then you can select the actual inputs you want, but that's not important. So all we're going to do is paste your address in here. It's going to read it as your whatever label you selected, so mine is MN2. We're going to put precisely 1,000 Essence, okay? Not 1,000.01, and not 999.99. Okay, it has to be exactly 1,000, or you cannot create a master node. Make sure this box is not checked where it says subtract fee from amount. If this box is checked, it is not going to work, okay? So make sure 1,000 assets, and then we're going to click send, and just hit this confirm window. Make sure total amount equals 1,000, okay, plus your fee. So you see it added the fee. So that way there, once the essence is received in the wallet, we'll have exactly 1,000 essence. So we're going to click yes. Okay, and then it'll say sent transaction. Now what we need to do, if we go in here in transactions, you see how it'll say payment to yourself, and that's fine. And it's just going to say that we have this unconfirmed of negative 0.00000 whatever for. Okay, and this is just a transaction fee. That's what has been deducted from your account. And all we did now is we consolidated all of those little payments into one. So we need to wait until we have at least one confirmation to proceed. But if you go into receive, you'll be able to see this. Go into send and go into inputs. Okay. Now you can see we have exactly 1,000 coins in our MN2 address. All right. And you see it says confirmation 0. Like I say, we need one confirmation to proceed. So wait for one confirmation, and then we'll proceed with the next step. Okay, now that we have one confirmation, once you have this symbol here, that means you have one confirmation. You can now proceed. So for the next step, there's also a guide that you can follow back on the website, essence.direct. Okay, they have a guide. If you click here on MN Guide, it'll open a PDF file, and it looks like this. And this is, the exact instructions that I'm going to give you right now. Okay, but I'm going to walk you through it. All right. So first thing we did, we sent our 1,000 essence. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to open the debug console, and we want to get ourselves a couple of keys right now. We need a private key for our master node, and then we will also need an output for that address that we just created. So next thing we're going to do, go back into your wallet. Okay, we're going to go to Tools, Debug Console. We're going to type Masternode gen key. Okay, and now we have a Masternode key. Right, so we're going to need that. The other thing we're going to do is Masternode outputs. Okay, and you can see I have two outputs. So one of these I've already used, and I will have to use the other one. You will only have one line. So this is one output. This is another output. You'll only have one of these. Okay, so it'll be really easy for you. You just need the one. For me, I will have to use the one that I'm not already using because, of course, this is my second master node. So now, in order to proceed, what we're going to do, we don't actually want to run the master node from our home computer, okay? There's a couple of reasons for that. One, not very many routers actually support the way that these master nodes connect with each other, specifically the way that your master node, your wallet, needs to communicate with the master node and broadcast the correct IP address. We end up with conflicting problems there. The other thing too is that your master node actually needs to stay on full time, 24/7. If it goes offline, you end up actually going back to the bottom of the list, and you have no earnings until you get back online and re-verify, go through all the temporary periods at the beginning where you don't earn anything. So it's very, very important that it stays online full time. So what we're going to do is get ourselves a VPS, and we're going to make this really cheap, really easy, okay? And I'm going to put a link to this in the description of the video. So where I get my VPS to run my master nodes is from Vultr. So just click the link in the description of this video, and it'll take you over to a website called Vultr, or vultr.com. Okay, and go ahead and sign up for an account, get in here. You can see I already have one server set up here. So in order to start a new server, because we're going to have to get a VPS, so you have to set up your account, go into billing. I think you'll have to add a credit card in order to set it up. Just put like $10 in the Vultr. You have to make a payment, and you can see here how mine actually, I have 28 cents worth of charges. It bills you sort of by the hour, and then it adds up to the monthly cost. So it's only $5 a month for the VPS that I have. It's really cheap. You should be able to make money on it. So what I'm going to do now, because you can't run two master nodes from the same IP address, I need to actually start a new server. So I'm just going to click this plus icon, and we're going to create ourselves a new server. Okay, so I'll just I'll leave it on New York, I guess. So you just choose your location. New York or is good for me, whatever. For server type, down in section 2, server type, we want make sure we're on 64-bit. We're going to select Ubuntu and select 1604. The reason we're going to use 1604 and not a newer version is for compatibility. There are some of these programming for these masternodes just don't quite work correctly in 1804 yet. We need to wait for some updates. So we're going to select 1604. It's not necessary to have a very large VPS. We can just do the $5 a month VPS. You can probably even get away with the $2.50 a month VPS. I go for the $5 a month because I do use my VPS to run masternodes in other coins. Okay, remember, you can't run 2 of the same masternode for the same coin from the same VPS. Okay, but you can run a masternode for Essence and then run a masternode for another coin on the same VPS. So that's sort of why I'm going to get this package here, because it has enough resources that I can run 2 or 3 coins from. So it's only $5 a month. So we'll do that. Scroll down. We don't need any of these options whatsoever. We don't want IPv6. We don't care about backups. We don't need DDoS protection. If you get DDoS, just shut down the server and make another server. It's not worth it. Okay. All the rest we can leave alone. Down in hostname, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to put SMN2. And the reason I label it like this is so at a glance I can see that this masternode was created for Essence and it's MN2. It's my second one. And now we're going to click on deploy now. Okay. Now what will happen, it's going to come up here. It's going to say installing. Okay. So just wait. We need to wait, let this process complete, and just let this go through. Okay. And we need some information from the VPS in order to set up our wallet. And we need to, of course, install the masternode on this once it's finished. Okay, so here we actually have an IP address already, so we can proceed with our wallet configuration. So just highlight this IP address. We're going to right click. We're going to hit copy. Now go back into your Essence wallet. You're here. Get out of here. Okay, so back into here, what I want to do is go to tools, and then we're going to open masternode configuration file, and you should open a notepad document like this. Okay. So I'm going to need this IP address, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy my pre-existing line. So there's actually an example that you will have here. So you can actually copy this whole line, okay, and paste it as a new line. You don't need to delete anything else. You can leave that as is. I'm just going to change this. So this is your label. So I'm just going to call it MN2. And what I'm going to do is use my new IP address, and we're going to paste the IP address in here, okay. Now these other 2 codes, this is from your debug window, okay? So where we did masternode gen key, it generated a key, okay? So this is my masternode private key, and you should not share this key with anybody, all right? So we'll just right click, and then we're going to paste that in here like this, okay? Now the other thing we're going to do is in outputs, we are going to copy your output, all right? So I'm going to copy this section, so right between the quotation marks. We don't want to include the quotation marks. Then we'll right click and copy, and then we'll paste over this part of the code. Okay, and you can see in outputs it has this number 1 at the end. So we're actually going to change this number to the number 1, and that's it. Now we can go file, save, and we can exit this, and we'll leave this part open for now, because the next thing we'll do is actually configure our VPS. So you can see now our VPS says running. Okay, so now I can hit manage, and then it opens up a window like this. Now your server may still be finished installing and booting up for the first few minutes during activation. If the server is not paying, you can view the console. So let's just go ahead, let's just verify our server is running. So click on view console, okay, and you can see here it says, it has my label and it says login, so that this is perfect. Okay, our VPS is running. We don't need to do anything else. If your VPS is stuck or hung up, you can always use the functions up here to restart your VPS server, and then it should bring you to the login window. Okay, so if you have that, everything is good. Now for the next step, we can't actually use that console in order to do this. So what we're going to do is install a program called Putty, and that is at putty.org, I believe. Okay, so you want to download Putty right here and install it. And what Putty is, this is an SSH client. So this is a server shell client. okay, or a secure server shell client. And what this is going to allow us to do is to connect through an SSH connection to our VPS in order to control it, all right? So just get this program, install it, really easy. Once it's installed, you'll actually have something that looks like this, okay? So you'll have this here, and you will have a whole bunch of, well, you'll have no settings in here whatsoever. Of course, I have a bunch of servers that I connect to, including my own dedicated server that I host here from home. So anyway, in here, what we need to do, this needs to be your VPS IP address, okay? So if you go back over here to Vultr, this is your VPS, okay? You have an IP address, so we're just going to right-click, copy. We're going to go back into Putty. I have a whole bunch, okay? So we'll paste that in there, and in port number, we're going to put number 22, and make sure connection type is on SSH, okay? So this is your VPS IP address, port number 22, SSH. Okay, I'm actually going to save this. So if you type a label in there and click save, now it'll actually save there so I can recall this information later. And I'm going to hit open. And it's going to open you probably have a security warning. Just click yes, no problem. And now it's going to present you with login as, okay? So this is your VPS, and it's running Ubuntu Linux, all right? This is your VPS. There's no graphical user interface. Everything we're going to do on the VPS, we're going to do from the command line, just like this, okay? So we want to log in, all right? So in order to log in, what we're going to do is we're going to type root, because that's the username we want to log in as, okay? Now the next thing we're going to do is type in our root password. Now to get your root password, you're going to go back into Vultr, and you see where it says password, underneath root, it says password, and there's this. So we're going to click right here, show password. Okay, now the thing is that we can't copy and paste this into Putty, all right? It won't work. We have to actually physically type this password into Putty. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and type it. And you're going to notice something as I'm typing. I'm typing the password right now, one character at a time, okay? Case sensitive, just type really, really slow, but you're going to notice that nothing shows in the terminal window. And that is completely normal, okay? Just type it as if it's showing something in there and press enter, all right? So before I forget where I am, let me just keep typing here. And I can't really type and talk at the same time, but just make sure you type it in and make sure you get it right. And there are symbols. Make sure you have all the symbols right, and then press enter. Okay, if you type the password correctly, it'll let you in. In my case, I got access denied because I typed the password incorrectly. So just allow me a few seconds to try again. There. Once you've successfully typed in your password, it'll look like this. It'll say root at your host label, and now we can start entering commands. So the first thing you're going to want to enter, again, you can follow along in the guide, okay, back on the Essence guide, all right? We got our VPS. There's a few things that we have to do in our wallet yet, but we got our VPS set up. That's going. So in our VPS, let's just do this part first, okay? Or we've already done this part. We can scroll down. We've saved changes. We've done options, we've done SSH client. Okay, so yeah, we're at number 9 right now, okay? So we'll go back into our Putty. Now we're going to type a few things. We need to type these commands, all right? So the first thing you need to do is you're going to type wget, okay? And what wget is in Linux, wget is the program, is the command that you use in order to download files from the internet. So we're actually going to download this file, and this is just the installer script for Essence. Okay, and if it typed correctly, you should see something like this, and your bottom line should say essence.sh saved. Okay, if it says anything else, if you got an error, it didn't work, check your spelling, try it again. Now the second command we're going to enter is chmod +x. So chmod is the program in Linux, okay, in Ubuntu Linux, that is going to change the file permissions and allow this piece of code to execute on your server. Okay, so just type this chmod +x, little x, not a capital X, okay? Linux is case sensitive, so make sure chmod plus lowercase x essence.sh, okay? Press enter. Now there'll be no output, just trust it worked. Now the next thing you're going to do, it says to put sudo first, but you don't need to put sudo because we're as root. If you're doing any other kind of Linux installation and you're not installed as root, you're not logged in as the root user, you'll need to put sudo. So /essence.sh, push enter. Now it's going to say, before we proceed with the installation, please paste here your Masternode key, okay, and confirm with enter. So your Masternode key. Now go back into your wallet's output window, and remember where we put Masternode gen key, okay? We're going to right click, copy. Go back into your Putty window. Just right click and it'll paste, okay? Don't do anything else. Just right click, it pasted in there, push enter, okay? Now wait, it looks like it's not doing anything, okay? But if you just wait a few minutes, okay, it'll actually start doing stuff. So just bear with me and wait. Now this process should actually take 15, 20 minutes, maybe up to 30 minutes for the installation to take place. So have some patience. It's very, very, very important that you have some patience while this part goes through. Now at this stage, you'll have the final message. It'll say here, waiting for your Essence client to fully sync with the network. Once it's done, you will receive the confirmation. So again, you gotta have a little bit of patience. Let this finish. It'll tell you when it's done. It'll say your VPS was successfully configured or something like that. So let's just continue waiting. Okay, now you can see it says done setting up your VPS. You may now close the connection, right? So this part is done. Your VPS should now be running, okay? So we'll just go ahead and get out of there. I just got to open up my Essence wallet again. Okay, so now, oh, actually your wallet, it is configured. If I just look, okay, I've done my second line. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is actually restart our wallet, because if you see in the Masternodes tab, I don't have MN2 currently available. So what I'm going to do is just go to File, Exit. It's going to shut down the wallet, and then I'm going to open the wallet again, okay? Okay, now that it's open, if I go to Masternodes, now you'll see I have MN, which was my first Masternode, and here's MN2, which is the node we just set up. Okay, and you'll see it says missing right now. So we're just going to wait for all the syncing to happen. We want to make sure our wallet is fully synced, and then we can go ahead and start our Masternode. Okay, now that we're done synchronizing, we can right-click on our Masternode and click on Start Alias. And are you sure you want to start Masternode? Yes. And then it'll say Alias successfully started Masternode. And you will have a status here that says pre-enabled. Okay, so this is a temporary period. When you first start your Masternode, it takes anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, sometimes up to 30 minutes, in order for your status to go from pre-enabled to enabled. If it doesn't go to enabled and it goes to it'll go to expired instead. If it goes to expired, then we have a problem with your configuration or a problem with your VPS. Or just a general networking problem, and we'll have to engage some troubleshooting after that. But other than that, that's exactly how you start the Masternode. All you got to do now is just wait about 20 to 30 minutes, and it should change to enabled, and then you can just wait. The earnings times greatly depend on the network conditions, how many other nodes are in, are already running, and things like that. So I can't tell you how long it takes to earn. For me, it took me 16.5 hours to make my first earning, and now I'm getting earnings about every 8 hours thereafter. For you, it could be different, so results may vary, and your results could be completely different from mine. But after about 20 minutes, this should change to enabled, and you can feel safe that your VPS or your Masternode is working. So now you can go ahead, you can close your Putty connection. We don't need that anymore. And you want to leave your wallet open for now, okay? Leave your wallet open on your computer until this goes to enabled. Once your wallet goes to enabled, you can actually close the wallet on your computer. It doesn't need to run anymore. Just remember that your wallet is your means to control your Masternode, so just check in every once in a while and make sure it's still on enabled. If it's not enabled, now we got to go and do a few other troubleshooting things in order to resolve that, and I'll save that for another video. But that's it, guys. There's your Masternode, so happy earning. Ciao for now.